Hello. It's 11 o'clock at night and I'm sweating in this tent right now. So we got the air conditioner on, which is actually, I took off my socks and I'm spinning it around the tent. That's my air conditioning. So I was talking to the homie, Ileana. And, back in the day, he used to make all these video game trophy guides and stuff. And he was making one for 428 Shibuya Scramble. And then he never finished it because he's a little punk ass. Yeah, I'm calling you out, like, for real for that. So one of us has to talk about this game, and it's not going to be you, is it? Because you, anyway. Oh, hang on, we got to get the music going here. I don't know how to make a video about 428 Shibuya Scramble. But I'm gonna do my best. I think the best thing I can do is explain the premise of the game, and then explain the many characters to you. So let's crack a cold one. That'll cool you down. And let's talk about arguably one of the finest pieces of literature ever made is in a visual novel made by Spike Chunsoft. You ever seen the American TV show 24? Well, this game is basically like playing a season of 24. It all takes place over the course of one day, and you see it from multiple characters' perspectives. Although you don't necessarily see them in real time simultaneously. You will see other characters in each other's stories and in each other's timelines. But, it's not like a four-way split screen where it's like, oh, this is what everyone's doing right now. So it's not exactly like 24. But you have this central pillar in the timeline menu, right? And each character represents a different face on this pillar. You rotate the pillar, that's a different character. Going up is to go back in time, and going down is to progress time. And generally speaking, the way the game loop and flow works is you pick a character. You start with a choice between two characters. And that would be Shinya Kano and Achi Endo. The police detective and the clean freak hippie who wants to clean up Shibuya, doesn't want trash around. And when the game starts, it doesn't matter which one of them you play as first. You have to progress to the same time node on both characters, and you have to this is a Spike Chunsoft game, so you're gonna spend 99% of your time reading and 1% of your time being do you pick option A, B, or C? What is this character gonna do? So there is a little bit of choose your own adventure in it, sort of. If you choose the wrong thing, you're gonna get a bad ending, and the bad endings are actually pretty funny most of the time. Some of the time they're kind of dark and horrible, but a lot of the time they can actually be pretty hysterical, like the burning hammer ending on the subway. But we'll get into that. This game opens up with the detective. They have a whole task force going. They're all surrounding the Hachi statue in front of Shibuya Station. If you don't know about Hachiko, go read about Hachiko. Let's watch my video about Hachiko. I don't know. But Achi, he just sees this girl with a suitcase looking like she got some troubles. And he doesn't know that Shinya Kano, the police detective, has the entire Tokyo Metropolitan Police Force. They're staking this girl out because she's about to make a money hand off to some kidnappers. Achi intervenes and is kind of just like, yo, girl, I'm hip. I'm what's up. I'm former street thug. Nobody will mess with you. Come on, why don't you just come with me? And he totally messes up the police, like, attempted capturing of the terroristic criminals because he's just trying to pick up a chick and look cool in front of her, basically. And, like, that's how the game starts off, is, like, you have to get both of these characters to the same spot, and they each have to make a certain decision. And then when you go back to the timeline, you open the time locks and the gates that prevented that character's story from progressing. And you do this with many characters. Let's just go down the list. Probably, one of the most interesting characters is Tama, the person in the giant cat mascot costume, who is literally a Schrodinger's box, because neither the person in the mascot costume knows who they are, neither does the viewer / reader know who they are. You simply do not know who is inside the giant cat costume. And astute viewers will probably notice that the narration for every other character refers to them in a limited third-person narrative. But when you play as Tama, it is an omniscient first-person narrative. The thing that makes it such an interesting omniscient first-person narrative, though, is that the person in Tama has amnesia and doesn't know who they are either. Literally no one knows who is inside the giant cat costume. Tama has a bit job handing out free samples of this energy drink called Burning Hammer, the new weight loss energy drink. It's 99% capsaicin. It just burns you to death and makes you think you're losing weight because you sweat out water weight. And she has to hand out these samples so that her employer can sell off all his stock of Burning Hammer so that she can get paid, because there's a necklace in a pawn shop that when she sees it, she just is like, if I get that necklace back, I think I'll get my memory back. I don't know why, but I need like $200. It's yen, but translate that to USD for you. She needs about $200 to buy a necklace from this pawn shop, and she doesn't even know why she wants it or needs it. So that's where Tama is. She is handing out samples of Burning Hammer, and again, one of my favorite endings is when you're playing as Shinya Kano, the bust went wrong, and he's hanging out with his homie who wears stupid otaku clothing and looks like something between a homeless bum and an anime nerd. That's his undercover costume. He's like, Kano, you look like crap. You haven't eaten like all day, and this bus has got you all stressed out. Well, here, I got this free sample of something. You should drink it. And if you drink Burning Hammer on an empty stomach, it kills you. You die. Shinya Kano dies in the subway by drinking Burning Hammer. Bad end. Do not choose to drink the Burning Hammer on an empty stomach. It just kills you. It's 99% capsaicin. That one's funny to me. I love that one. Then we have Minoru Minorikawa, the action news reporter, journalist, investigator, who is a Formula One car of a person who only knows how to go forward and has no reverse gear. My favorite scene with him is when he's in the coffee shop. He busts out his laptop, lights up a cigarette, and the proprietress comes over and is like, "This is a non-smoking establishment, sir." And he's just like, "Excuse me? Who was complaining about this? How can you enjoy the aroma, the taste of coffee, without the bitter, acrid smoke of a cigarette filling the air of the environment? You're all coffee posers." And then he gets kicked out for being a douchebag. But that's just the kind of character he is. He never backs down from anything. even when he is blatantly wrong, he finds a way to be like, no, it's all you who are wrong. I'm the right one. I'm always right. I am always on the side of justice. Dude's a psychopath. I love him. Scroll this up. And then we have Kenji Osawa. Kenji Osawa is a virologist. And one of his twin daughters has been kidnapped and is being held for ransom. And that's the girl who Achi Endo is parading around Shibuya with right now. The other twin daughter who was supposed to do the money drop off thing, right? So Achi has now got himself caught up in something bad without really realizing it, because he's trying to be a cool guy. And he's a former gang leader is the thing, but he just decided one day, I just want to clean up Shibuya. Shibuya River looks like crap, so he goes around cleaning up trash, and if he catches someone littering in his city, he breaks their nose. I like Achi. I think he's cool. That's my kind of guy right there. And he just busts faces in, and then he hands him a trash bag and is like, pick it up now. Break another bone in your face if you don't. Just freaking do it. Is savage. I think he's a great character. But Kenji Osawa, his chapters are like a trip down the Twilight Zone into the dark psychosis of a breaking man. His wife is constantly nagging him and blaming him for everything because the terrorists that have kidnapped one of his twin daughters are like, yo, we also want a sample of your ultra hantavirus that you've been researching and that you have samples of in your lab. So yeah, you're gonna get us that too. And he's got the Justice Department in his house, basically. They have camped out in his house to track down these people that have kidnapped his daughter and all that. And he just has no freedom. He's not allowed to leave his own house. Anywhere he goes in the house, police are questioning him. His wife is badgering him and blaming him for everything. So he just goes into his private study, the place where no one is allowed to come in, because he classified documents that are on his computer screen, and no one's allowed in there. You're not allowed to be in here. So he just hides and sequesters himself inside of his lab in his house. And while he's in there, that whole thing about him listening to that J-pop idol CD that he tried to give one of his daughters that got kidnapped. And, one of his daughters was like, oh, thanks, Dad. And the other one was like, I grew out of this, Dad. I'm not into this kid crap anymore. And he felt like he was losing touch with his daughter and that he wasn't able to connect with one of his daughters anymore. And it confuses him because they're twins and they've always been so similar. So why is she so different now? And in order to, just feel like he still has a connection with her because he's worried that he's never going to see his daughter again, he's just sitting in his lab, losing his mind, biting his nails, constantly refreshing his email, while he's just listening to this high-tempo, upbeat, positive J-pop. He's just losing his freaking mind, and the disparity of his despair and this upbeat, denpa music that is just blaring so that he doesn't have to hear all the police walking around his house. It's so freaking David Lynchian, honestly. If you've seen Twin Peaks, you should know what I'm talking about. And you just feel bad for him. It's just he created a weapon, and now people are manipulating his family to steal that weapon from him, and it's just a crazy descent into utter madness. And also the really weird other detective in his house who's always trying to give him a banana. And it plays that weird, creepy song whenever he's around. And I love how they just keep making this dude out to be just like an absolute weirdo. And it's like, why is this guy assigned to this? Like, he's just so weird. And then he starts pulling some straight up G moves. I don't want to spoil things if you decide to play this, but like when he points out at the end of that one Kenji chapter, he's just like, "Sir, this is the broken one. You've had the one that's been working this whole time." Oh, that like drop is so crazy. Like the recontextualization, and then the moment you realize, oh, this weirdo detective dude he's putting on a ruse. He actually knows what's going on. He's BSing on Front Street, and he's a genius. This is why he's such a high caliber detective. He knows how to play everyone in order to get to the truth. And the truth is pretty insane. If you want to, if this is enough to get you to play the game, go play it, because I'm about to spoil something for you. Maybe it'll make you want to play it more. I don't know. The girl inside the Tama costume is the kidnapped daughter. She isn't actually kidnapped. And this whole time, they're trying to find someone who's been standing in the middle of Shibuya handing out burning hammer samples the whole time. It's a very American tale. You know how like when 5-0 walks right past his family and they don't realize, oh, that's the person we're looking for right there. No, they're inside the cat costume and you just don't know. Here's the effed up part about that. The terrorists already have a sample of the virus. They injected it into her already. The whole ransom money thing is just to keep people busy so that no one can find her until she becomes contagious. And she's standing in the middle of Shibuya. Drama. Okay, mega drama up ends here. I don't want to spoil things in this story. I genuinely think it deserves to be experienced. This is probably about as much as I can realistically say. It gets so much crazier from that point forward. And there's tons of things I didn't even mention. But I would be here for 9 hours ranting about it if I could. If I could upload that from mobile, I would. But, I mean, you got to play it, man. You know, it's not a skill-based game. You're kind of supposed to see a bunch of bad endings, so just pick whatever, fast forward back to the decision scene, and then pick the correct choice. You don't even lose that much time, and you get some entertainment out of it. So don't worry about trying to do everything right the first time. Just play the game and enjoy the narrative. That all said, there's one little bit of trivia that I love about this game. See, in Japan, if you're going to be like filming things, because this whole game is live action. It's all real life photographs. It's all like actual film of Shibuya itself in real life. In Japan, when you want to like film in public like that, you have to have filming permits. And the producer hella lied to everybody about those film permits. He didn't even bother trying to get them. Nope. No one has any clue what was actually going on there. And we're talking about, there are some scenes in this game where, you know, there are people running around chasing people with guns, and none of the streets have been cordoned off. There's literal people just kind of walking around Shibuya who all of a sudden see someone chasing after people down an alleyway with what looks very much like a real gun, and they kind of didn't tell anyone that they would be filming there. So all those people's reactions in the background to all the stuff going on, those are genuine human reactions most of the time. These people had no idea something was even being filmed. because again, there wasn't filming licenses and all that. There was filming permits, so they're not exactly walking around with like giant cameras everywhere, obviously recording something. They kind of made a lot of the game illegally. I don't know how this game was allowed to be released, considering that, but it was. So yeah, all those people in the background of this game, they are not paid extras. They were not given direction. Those are actual people that have no idea what the hell is going on in their city. I imagine that must have been pretty interesting. Anyway, yeah. 428 Shibuya Scramble. Spike Chunsoft's greatest individual work. I still think Danganronpa is the best thing they've ever done. All of it. But for just one game, it's got to be 428, baby. Freaking, that's the G sauce right there. I'm not even playing. One of the best things I've ever read in my life, and I assure you it will be one of the best things you ever read in your life. The Chekhov's gun that shows up at the very end, I'm not going to say what it is the single most brilliant use of a Chekhov's gun that anyone will ever do on this planet, and I'm not kidding. There, I'm done. That's what I wanted to say. Thanks for listening. Appreciate your time. God bless. Later.